Did Rappa just change the Honkai Star Rail meta forever? Well, she's a damage character, so probably not. That doesn't mean we can't talk about her. I mean, she has to be good, right? Well, pack your lunchly, turn off that talk to her because we're gonna get into it. This video was supposed to come out like a week ago, but the DailySSJ curse struck yet again. Don't worry, I will be doing the Jack Doherty's texting while driving challenge in order to repent. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to structure these videos, so here's what I'm going to try this time. I will be judging Rappa based on 5 separate categories in order to be as fair and objective as possible. These categories are aesthetic, kit, reliability, and convenience. I'll explain what these all mean as we go. So, like my cheese, I like my characters moldy, bruh. I mean drippy. Okay, I'll stop now. Anyways, let's talk about Rappa's aesthetics. If we're just talking about her character model, well, I'm kinda torn about it. Mori Calliope, Rappa, has a very Zilla Zone Zero-esque design. That kinda 90s, early 2000s Californication punk type shit. It also doesn't help that she looks kind of flat, you know, in both ways. I don't exactly mind her design, it's just nothing special. I could be wrong though, my sense of fashion boils down to pump covers and joggers. You know, to hide my power level and draw attention to my leg day skipping lower region. Regardless, that's not what makes Rappa stand out. No, what really makes her stand out are her attack effects. If we're just going by that alone, she would immediately get a 10 out of 10. No glazing, just gazing. Disrespectfully. Rappa has one of the coolest looking techniques in the game. It's like Milani's Wave Rider, just, you know, without the Warframe ripoff energy. Now, I haven't done the newest story yet, so I can't tell you anything specific about her character traits, but she seems pretty run-of-the-mill. Plus, her voice lines are fine, you know, not Wuthering Waves bad. But that's beating a dead horse, and I'm not intelligent enough to find a way to make a Mori Calliope horse joke out of this. But it's here. If you know, you know. Anyway, this category is gonna get a solid 7 out of 10. Her attack effects are really cool and unique, but her model leaves a little bit to be desired. Speaking of her attack effects though, let's move on to her kit. Rappa's kit is, well, very similar to another character. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know who it is. We'll be talking about her later though, don't you worry. Rappa's kit revolves around break effect. She is a break effect enjoyer. This is either a major turnoff or, well, the opposite. We all know about the break effect meta. As of right now, Honkai Star Rail is just break effect plus Acheron. But that's good, right? Rappa being a weakness breaking unit means she slots right in, right? It's been a while since we've had a real plug and play character. Well, not so fast. Rappa's kind of like fitting a triangle in a square hole. I mean, you fit, obviously, but that's not where you belong. Assuming you haven't done her character trial, let me break it down for you. Rappa's kit revolves around generating charge stacks by breaking the enemy's toughness, then popping your ultimate and nuking. Your skill attacks all enemies, so you have a little bit of sustaining damage between ultimates. That's cool, I guess. Your ultimate is where you really shine, just like someone else we know. Okay, no, not her this time. Rappa's like, well, the break effect version of Argenti, just without some of the micromanaging. Notice I said some. You still have to worry about those charge stacks. We have one small problem here, though. She doesn't actually implant her weakness onto the enemy. This could be quite an issue, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Your ultimate, like Argenti, is your main form of damage. Simple enough, and hey, simplicity can be a pretty good reason to pull for somebody. I'll say that using someone like Firefly, for example, requires double the amount of brain power, which then again makes her kind of annoying to auto with when you don't have every character E6, S5. So yeah, spam your skill to build up those sweet, sweet charge stacks. Then you pop your ultimate and pray you kill whatever you're aiming at. You get to do your best Jade impression, and true to form, if you don't kill what you're aiming at, well...
Last player standing.
Anyway, what's the ranking? Well, I'm gonna give Rappa's kit a solid 6 out of 10. However, this could drop down to like a 5 if you have the wrong team or if you're doing the wrong event. Speaking of which, let's talk about her reliability. Now, what do I mean when it comes to reliability? Well, I am mainly referring to Rappa's flexibility when it comes to many varying types of combat events in the game. You don't want to pull for a character that's only good at one kind of event. Now keep in mind that for this ranking, I'm only considering Memory of Chaos, Apocalyptic Shadow, and Pure Fiction. I'll also talk about Simulated Universe on the side, but that doesn't affect the ranking. If you're asking me, which I don't know why you would, I'm kinda psychotic, I'd rank them as follows. As Rappa is a primarily multi-target AoE damage dealer, her best showing will definitely be Pure Fiction. This is where someone like Firefly falls off, needing a secondary damage dealer like Himiko to clear the higher tiers. Sure, she doesn't implant her own weakness, but she still does enough toughness break to absolutely mob waves of fodder. She is a professional janitor. Put the fries in the bag type shit. Okay, not that far. Her next best showing is pretty much either of the two depending on the cycle, but I will give the edge to Apocalyptic Shadow. This is mainly because, well, you have one opponent and most of the time AoE is preferred or absolutely fucking needed. Thanks, Adventurine. You can never go wrong with AoE, unless it comes at like a major cost in damage. Luckily, checks and balances like that don't exist too much in gacha games. If a character sucks right out of the gate, they usually just suck all around. You know, like Blade. miHoYo is not gonna buff your character, especially not after release. In fact, they're probably gonna do the opposite. Just ask Nouvellette. Rappa should be okay in Memory of Chaos, but some cycles can really fuck you up if she's one of the two teams you're stuck using. Your simulated universe runs are gonna be really fun though. Anyway, how does Rappa stack up overall in this category? I give her a solid 7 out of 10, as I think no matter what content you're doing, she's gonna be a bit above average. Her weaknesses are purely gonna come from different cycles and not their intrinsic mechanics. So a pretty good choice if you're looking for a flexible damage deal. But when we talk about flexibility, we have to talk about the rest of the team. No man is an island, and that certainly is true for pretty much any main DPS in Star Rail. Let's talk about convenience. When I talk about convenience, what do I mean? Well, I'm specifically referring to Rappa. I'm specifically referring to Rappa's flexibility, not when it comes to what kind of content she can do, but rather how easily she can adapt to the changing meta. More importantly, this category is about how team-dependent Rappa is, with maybe a small anecdote on her light cones and eidolons. Now, when it comes to what teams you can run her on, well, this is where Rappa's score falls off a cliff. Now, don't worry, the same thing is true for Firefly. Look, when I make these videos, I'm kind of assuming you, the viewer, don't have every single character E6 S5. Thus, if a character requires an entire team of 5-stars to be viable, obviously that's a problem. Now look, I know that Gallagher and Harmony Trailblazer are solid free-to-play options, but if you're really trying to low diff the latest content, well, they just don't cut it. I mean, you pretty much need Harmony Trailblazer for Super Break, for now, but Gallagher is just getting outpaced in the healing department by, well, everyone. Especially now that he's not the only break effect healer. Speaking of which, I am so happy I pulled for Lingshot. Easily the most valuable pull on my account other than Fujian. Seriously, do not let anyone tell you that Lingshot isn't an absolute must if your break effect team needs sustain. Plus, my Lingshot can put up some crazy damage numbers for a healer. But this isn't a Lingshot video, and she just went away, so back to Rappa in particular. If you want her to be viable, you're gonna have to run her with like a whole team of 5-stars. Plus, since you don't apply your own weakness, you're gonna feel a bit more pressure to use that Harmony Trailblazer skill, which then cuts in your skill point economy, and then, okay, I'm min-maxing, I get it. TLDR, Rappa needs some TLC when it comes to her team comps. TLC, of course, standing for tremendously large coin purse. I mean, if you're on a budget, you can use like Asta or Pela with Harmony, Tuberculosis, and Gallagher, but at that point, just wait for Firefly's rerun. I did say I'd talk briefly about light cones, so it's over, isn't it, Rappa bros? Now look, Eternal Calculus isn't terrible as it addresses some of her speed issues, and After the Charmony Fall is a very solid option if you can pick up some of the refinements. But there is a sizable gap between her best budget light cone and her signature. miHoYo did a classic, create a problem and sell the solution. When it comes to pulling for eidolons, yeah, they're good. And if you're gonna go all in on Rappa, then like, yeah, you're gonna need them. All of her eidolons except for her E6 give her about the same DPS boost, so at least she's consistent. Now, I did mention very briefly when talking about Harmony Trailblazer that they're the only super break option currently available. Now, not talking about leaks whatsoever, but think about it for a second. Trailblazer is gonna unlock another path eventually, and miHoYo needs to give the player another avenue for super break. And no way in hell are they gonna make that character a 4-star. That would be way too much money left on the table. So yeah, super break substitute coming very soon, and as the way things usually go, they're gonna be way better than Harmony Trailblazer. So yeah, now you need another 5-star that's coming relatively soon just to keep up. Keep in mind that this same mystery character is only going to make Firefly better as well. I mean, yeah, Boot Hill too, but he's single target. I felt I needed to mention his name once in this video, you know, for the 3 people in the audience who actually pulled for Boot Hill, and the other 3 that, you know, watched Brokeback Mountain. I know who you are. So yeah, in terms of convenience, this is definitely Rappa's worst category. She's a fixer-upper. Not as bad as Blade though. 4 out of 10. Below average, skill issue, I guess. Oh, how I love conclusions. Yeah, that's a lie. I always fucking hated writing them in high school. That and intros. Never did see the point in them. Regardless, let's tally the scores. Rappa is getting an overall 24 out of 40, which seems bad when you put it like that, but dividing it a couple of times gives you a solid 6 out of 10. That means above average, by the way, if only slightly. Now, going back to the sensational thumbnail, no, Rappa doesn't replace Firefly, nor are they even supposed to be completely interchangeable. They are, however, similar enough for me to tell you which one you should pull for, which is probably the one I have and not the one I'm, well, not pulling for. If you did pull for Rappa and are watching this video, please don't do it. You have so much to live for. In all seriousness, you didn't make a bad choice. Rappa is good, but not great. Remember, miHoYo doesn't make bad characters, only bait characters. Like Blade. If you're a base stellar Jade saver, just know that with okay characters comes amazing characters soon after. If you haven't pulled for Rappa, then, well, don't. Unless you want her, or need a break effect main DPS and don't like Firefly, go for it. Pop off. I don't care! I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about pulling for Rappa. I didn't care about pulling for Aventurine. I didn't even care if I lived. And then it happened. I got a boner. God, that took like 20 takes and my throat really fucking hurts now. You know what would make me feel better? Some sweet, sweet engagement. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever the fuck you want. It helps motivate me to not make a video like once every year. If you do leave a comment, I will read it and most likely reply to that shit.